I don't know. You want to bring them up here? Yeah, Scott, you want to come up here? Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. Yeah. You want to come behind? If you can come behind, if you're part of it. Andrew, yeah, I'll have you come down here. We'll get the speakers on this side, that way you don't have to. Oh, no.
I wore
You want to come on?
intentional.
Oh, there you go. But I wasn't kidding you guys. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Dominique, if you want to kind of come down as well. There's Anthony.
We want some more signs? We have plenty.
Did you meet Dominique?
No, just Dominique Lott.
Yes.
Hello.
Dominique,
Hi.
good to see you. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yes, and Thomas.
And Thomas, are you were they both speaking?
Yes.
Oh, Thomas Hall, grass skirt? You're not wearing a grass skirt. Okay.
I don't know how long it's
Hey, you gotta advertise, huh?
I do.
Okay.
We have like Cowboy
Okay.
All right.
But I'd like to reference them if they're like.
Perfect, please. Yeah, that would be Anthony, do you mind coming over here if you don't mind?
Same high school, same major.
You all look beautiful.
Yeah.
Woo! Man, thank you. Look, you want to explain the camera stuff?
Oh yeah. I guess this is to you. I can just say it to you guys. So I know some folks are like, oh, there's only one camera. Act like there's 5 cameras here because during COVID, they send one camera from the media and then they pitch it back to all 5. And in fact, it'll be on Facebook Live as well. So don't be just because it's one camera, act like they're all here. And my guess it'll be covered on every station tonight. So with that, enthusiasm, go get it.
Mask on or off when we get to the podium?
You can take it off when you're speaking. Why don't we do that? We'll do that. So am I early? What time is it? Oh, 3 minutes early. Give a couple more minutes here.
Where's Thomas? Scott.
Beautiful spot. All right, Miles, have we got most of everybody? Okay. Is this on? It is? Okay. All right. Well, good morning, and thank you for being here today. I'm Supervisor Jim Desmond, and we are here today to give voices to the business owners and employees who, under the governor's new system, are still either not able to open or under the new limited restrictions can't open their businesses at all. In a couple of minutes, you're going to be hearing from people from the following businesses who are still greatly negatively affected by the governor's shutdowns. You're going to hear from the owner of the Cowboy Restaurant and Butcher Shop, Angie Weber. You're also going to hear from the owner of the Godfather Restaurant, Anthony Ballestrini. Anthony Ballestieri. CEO of Fit Athletic, Scott Lutwack. General Manager of Grass Skirt, Thomas Hall. General Manager for Kettner Exchange, Dominique Lott. The founder of the San Diego Event Coalition, Laurel McFarlane. And Amy Olcat, okay, I'm going to get it right. Amy Olcaten. I'm sorry, Amy.
Olcatekin, you got it.
Olcatekin, Amy Olcatekin. Thank you, Amy. Owner of First Comes Love and Catalyst Creative. You know, while some certain businesses were able to open today, many others continue to be greatly limited, hampered, or even closed. And the announcement from the governor was not enough. The state continues to change the targets and moving the goalposts, and in doing so, unfortunately picking winners and losers. I hear this all the time. Why them? Why that business? Why not me? I can operate safely. I can follow the rules. Why am I, my business, my life work, my life savings, my children, my family, why are we being punished for being willing to do what is right? All these businesses are here today that are willing to open safely. They all know the safety parameters. They're willing to go above and beyond and meet the safety requirements. Yet, because they're categorized by the state as either essential or non-essential, or in a category of one size fits all, they all continue to struggle. Today, you're not going to be hearing from many politicians other than myself or the governor, but you're going to be hearing their stories about from people that are truly affected by these closures. On Friday, we heard about the color codes and the different phrases in the different phases that really don't mean a lot to anybody out there who's not working today. We've heard for so long what's essential and what's non-essential. And for many of the people here today, they're labeled non-essential. But they are essential. Putting food on the family's table is essential. Paying a mortgage is essential. Paying rent is essential. Trying to make a living is also essential. I'm sure you'll hear today about the limitations on gyms of a 10% capacity and indoor dining to 25%. That's absurd. These rules are arbitrary and inconsistent, and businesses can't survive at these capacities. So instead of relying on the government, let's rely on the biggest, the strongest, and the smartest engine we have out there to safely get us through this pandemic, and that's American businesses, the American spirit, and entrepreneurial ingenuity. While the state government continues to confuse people and keep moving the goalposts and paralyzing the economy, the people affected most are the people up here today and hundreds of thousands of San Diegans just like them. So I'm going to start us off and introduce our first speaker today, the owner of Cowboy Star Restaurant and Butcher Shop, Miss Angie Weber. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Supervisor Desmond, and thank you all for being here to support us. For those who don't know us, we are Cowboy Star Restaurant and Butcher Shop. We opened a fine dining steakhouse in one of the worst financial crises of our time in May 2008. As you can imagine, it was not easy, but our neighborhood rallied around us, and with a lot of hard work, we made it. I can honestly say that 2008 pales in comparison to the situation that Sacramento has created for us right now. When we were told to close our doors on March 17th, the entire Cowboy Star family was devastated. There was a lot of anxiety and tears, but we understood what was needed of us, and we wanted to do our part. We spent the next couple of months focusing on our team and their families. We were grateful that Congress passed the CARES Act, and we thought, okay, maybe we can get through this. 3 months later, the state of California finally allowed us to reopen. For us at Cowboy Star, we did what we always do. We went above and beyond. We redesigned the restaurant with new glass partitions to ensure social distancing. We hired a local company called High Tech Air, who installed UV germicidal lighting that constantly cleans the air in our building. We went to touchless menus, touchless checks. We required everyone to wear masks, and we conducted daily health evaluations. After making sure we had every possible safety measure in place, we were ready. And on June 17th, we reopened with half our normal seating. The county health department applauded our efforts. 19 days later, we were shocked when the governor closed us again. Despite going the extra mile, we were forced to close, while large corporations were still open. Had those companies done the same safety measures? Did the governor's own Plump Jack Winery also go above and beyond? It became obvious to us that the state was playing favorites and small businesses like ours didn't make the cut. After weeks of pressure from many different business sectors, the governor finally announced last Friday yet another convoluted plan for reopening. San Diego is widely considered a low-risk county, is now in the second most restrictive tier. With this new color system, San Diego restaurants will be allowed to operate at 25% of their capacity. Moving us out of this tier is close to mathematically impossible. That means that 25% indoor capacity is the best San Diego restaurants can hope for the foreseeable future. I would like to ask the governor how he arrived at this arbitrary number. Was this percentage based on science or facts? Was 25% the number that was tested in a lab? Were any kind of safety protocols taken into consideration? We all deserve an explanation of why he chose these metrics, which nearly guarantees the failure of many small businesses in the coming months. In closing, I'd like to say we are not all in this together. Look at the small businesses in your neighborhood that are suffering and on the brink of extinction. Then change your focus to the large corporations that have been allowed to operate during this entire pandemic. Their year-to-date profit and loss sheets tell a very different story. In 2018, then candidate Governor Gavin Newsom, said that he was also a restaurateur. He assured us he'd listen to us and to all small businesses. Not only has he not listened, he has abandoned us. We deserve better leadership in Sacramento. Next, I would like to introduce Anthony Ballestieri, the owner of Godfather Restaurant. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Andrew.
Good morning. My name is Anthony Ballestieri, and I appreciate being invited here today. I'm the owner-operator of the Godfather Restaurant. We are a multi-generational, family-run establishment and have served the greater San Diego community since 1974. As a native San Diegan who has poured his heart and soul into his business, I love this community. However, I am struggling with the state's current plan for reopening, given the undue burdens of these restrictive policies. It has placed an undue burden on business owners and their employees, as my fellow business owners here today. As you all know, back in March, there was a great deal of uncertainty surrounding the virus and the effects it could have on our state and our nation. Of course, we heeded the governor's words of caution and immediately implemented all new protocols to ensure safety for our employees and our guests. We shut down in-dining service and quickly pivoted to curbside pickup and delivery. When we were initially allowed to reopen at just 50%, we implemented and enforced every requirement in the safe reopening guideline. We installed acrylic partitions, redesigned service and setup, enforced mask and health check requirements, closed bar seating completely, and much more, all in the name of keeping the community safe. Then, a few short weeks later, we were restricted to outdoor dining. Once again, of course, we complied. We completely transformed our outdoor space, meeting all physical distancing requirements, and quite frankly, I don't even know why, because I don't think it's much safer outside than it is inside. Each of these drastic changes has caused great financial and emotional strain on all of us. The reduction in staff and hours to that staff have created great hardship for all of our employees and their families. And quite frankly, again, it has had a domino effect because our purveyors are now operating at roughly 50%. While we're committed to continue to serve the community that has shown us so much love and support for 45 years, especially in these challenging times, the state's plan for reopening is making it impossible for law-abiding business owners to keep up. Very few businesses can afford to survive at 25% maximum capacity. Actually, I don't know any, quite honestly. Simply put, we and many other restaurants will not be able to survive in this ever-changing environment. Moreover, our county status can change in no time with this new risk metric system that they just put in place recently from our governor. Public health is a priority for all of us, especially those of us who are in the food and beverage industry. It's our job to serve you safely always, not just now, always. Of course, there are extra precautions needed, and we understand, and we will do what's necessary. Restaurants have complied with all guidelines previously set forth, and we are committed to high standards of service and safety. We are capable of making it work. Please allow us to do so. I respectfully ask our state leaders to consider the hidden cost to our community of a reopening plan that does not allow business to operate at a sustainable capacity, especially since there's really no timeline as to when all this is going to end. Again, thank you for allowing me to speak today. Thank you to County Supervisor Desmond for having me, and best of luck. Stay healthy, everyone.
All right, thanks. One thing I hope that you notice is this entire crowd behind me is all wearing masks. They're willing to do the right thing. They're willing to keep you safe. They're willing to abide by the guidelines, and they're willing and wanting to open. So next, he's going to have us doing push-ups. We have CEO of Fit Athletic, Mr. Scott Lutwack. Scott, come on up.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jim, for the introduction. I'm here today not as the CEO or a small business owner, but as the employer of over 400 unemployed families. Our employees are our family, and our heart is broken for their inability to survive during the past 5 months. With the combination of the extremely high cost of living here in San Diego and Governor Newsom's thoughtless policy towards fitness is literally forcing hundreds of families into bankruptcy. The governor's favorite saying is that he likes to follow science. In the handling of this pandemic, it's clear that he's following his own beliefs and not the data, because there is no data to support his policy. At least 4 countries, China, Germany, Austria, and Norway, have all conducted studies whether or not indoor exercise contributes to the spread of COVID. And every single study has shown that the reopening of fitness centers has had 0 impact on the spread of infection rates. The CDC has published opening guidelines on how fitness centers can open safely throughout the nation. All over the country, these guidelines have been adopted, with the exception of the state of California. The governor now says that we can open at a 10% capacity. This shows that he has no clue how much it costs and what it takes to operate a business. This is the same or worse than being closed completely. How am I supposed to bring staff back at a 10% occupancy when I can't even afford, and you can't even turn on the electricity with 10% of occupancy? This is not fair. This is not right to all of the people in the fitness industry. The most obvious way to keep healthy during this pandemic is to stay healthy. All studies, all proof has indicated as such. So as long as we follow all the industry guidelines and all the CDC guidelines, there is no reason for fitness centers throughout California to be able to open to their full capacity. Fitness is our first line of defense and our best line of defense against the COVID, and Californians' best way of staying healthy. I appreciate you all coming out to support us today, and now I would like to introduce you to Thomas Hall, the general manager of the Grassroots Restaurant.
The grass skirt, that's right. So today I'm here to speak on behalf of all of my staff. It's a very, very touching conversation because in March, I had to pull a family, my family, SDCM family, into the restaurant and let them know, you don't have a job. You know, as a leader in my community as well as in my restaurant group, one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. A lot of my staff are in college. A lot of my staff have families they're trying to support. A lot of my staff are in this because in the restaurant industry because this is what they want to do, and they can't do it. We have a lot of the young girls and guys in my industry lost. Not a place to go, nothing to do. When it comes to their mental health, it concerns me because they're at home all day, not doing things that they love, which is serving people. We took it upon ourselves to make sure that our restaurant stay compliant with all of the rules. I wear masks 24/7. Even when I'm not supposed to wear a mask, it's hanging on my face. When my staff was told they had to leave and I didn't know when they were going to hire them back, it completely broke my heart. To have to stand here and fight for an industry that I love and that I care so much about is tough, you know? Ask yourselves, how many of you miss going to your favorite restaurants, eating out, just having a good old time, you know? After work, letting the load off, come see your favorite servers. Can't do any of that. I put my life at risk every single day, but I can't open my restaurant. My life, I do to go. 25%, 10%, sometimes 5%. You know, we're spending so much money to stay compliant. We're spending so much money to keep ourselves afloat. What's the outcome? I don't have an outcome for my staff. For weeks, I was messaging everybody every day. Tomorrow will be different. Next week will be different. In a month, it'll be different. 2 months, it'll be different. 3 months, it'll be different. But nothing has changed. So I stand here today simply just speaking from the heart, no speech prepared, just asking if you can have a Home Depot with a line out the door for people to go get gardening supplies. They're making their money. Walmart, Target, all these giant industries. But I can't open my restaurant and provide a living for my staff that need me. And as the GM of a restaurant, you are a leader of more than just your staff. You're a leader of the community. You know, we provide excellent service. We provide a place for you to just come, take a load off, come get some good food. You want me to provide a service, but I get nothing in return. I have to find staff that are willing to work this week, not knowing if next week is to come. That's tough. I work 6 days a week, sometimes 12, 13 hours a day, just to stay afloat. And this is on a very, very, very minimum staff. So to tell me that I can reopen with just 25%, okay, I guess 25% is better than nothing, but nothing is nothing as well, because I can't pay my rent with 25%. What is 25%? You allow a person to come into a restaurant, sit down, enjoy themselves an hour and 30 minutes. Let's do the math on that. How much money am I actually bringing in when you only allow me 25%? I don't have a patio to service people on. Everybody, the one hounded question I get every day, when do you guys want to reopen? When do you guys want to reopen? You take all the precautions, sanitizer, face masks. We're investing in the pandemic, but I don't have enough money to invest into my restaurant. So honestly, it's like a lose-lose situation for all of us. Now, if I was an investor in Amazon or investor in Target, I'll be happy about this, because everybody will go to Walmart, Target, buy their groceries. But for me, I'm stuck. You know, today I have to tell my staff, sorry, I have to hire one of you guys. How do you pick between your family? And in the restaurant industry, everybody up here can agree, these people are your family. I've worked with the same people for 4 years straight. Not one of them has let me down. And I feel like every day, every week, every month, I'm letting them down. So, honestly, if we can find it in our hearts, Governor Newsom, if you can find it in the signs that you provide, just let us open. 50%, 75%. I think the restaurant industry, we're doing the most to try to provide a safe place for you to come in and eat. I'm washing every table. The investment that goes into this. You know, think about it. You're wearing a mask at a table. You know, kids are confused. They want to come in, and we just have to retrain our staff on just how to service people that you love. We don't see our regulars anymore. This is why we come to work. This is why we do what we do, just to have a family. And now I can't support my family, which is my staff, my friends. They can't support their family. And everybody behind me is suffering because of this. So if you can, just let us open up. Just give us that opportunity to show you that maybe the numbers say we're the reason, But that's strange because every time I go to a beach, they're full. Parking lots are full. 4th of July, full. But my restaurant was empty. Empty. You know, visitors are coming out of state, enjoying themselves, going getting everything they need from these big corporations. But I can't provide for my family. So, in conclusion, we're just asking for a little bit of help. We're just asking that you can stand by us as we've stood by you. Everybody's complied. Every rule, every email, COVID-19 headline, new update, new this, new that. If we can do this for you, I'm sure you can do this for us. So thank you all for listening. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce one of my best friends and colleagues, the event coordinator of Kettner Exchange, Dominique Lott.
All right.
Oh, hi, everybody. Sorry, I got to get myself together after that one. It's very emotional. Hello, I'm Dominique Lott. I am the event manager and floor manager for Kettner Exchange, just right up the block there, right in our neighborhood. We've been open since 2016, and we've had some really fantastic years. It's been absolutely wonderful. I'm sorry, 2014, I'm sorry, not 2016. And we've had some really fantastic years, opening up in Little Italy, doing something fine dining when San Diego is such a casual, cool casual place, lots of flip-flops, shorts, and tiki tops was really risky, but we did it, and we've been on the incline ever since, except for in March, when we had to close our doors and lay off our entire staff. That was really tough. We are considered a fine dining restaurant, so we have servers who have been doing this for 15, 20 years. They're dedicated to this craft. They study it, they study wine, they study food. Our executive chef has put his entire life into creating these menus and being just very intricate in his design of how he approaches food. And he's not able to do that right now. So not only did we have to lay off our staff, we stunted the creativity of our chefs. We took a building that has won awards and no one can see it, no one can appreciate it. I don't know if you've ever been into Kettner Exchange, but people say it's kind of like a museum. It's really cool in there. But people haven't been able to experience that. And our staff had to stay home, which at first they were like, okay, maybe this won't be too bad. And then we brought a couple of people back when they said that we can reopen. And then we realized that we can't have the staff that we used to have. We have one bartender upstairs and we have one bartender downstairs, when typically we would have 3 bartenders upstairs, 2 bartenders downstairs, 1 bar back upstairs, 1 bar back downstairs. So what's everyone else doing? They're unemployed. They can't come to work because we can't give them a job. And we're actually one of the lucky ones. We were able to open up outside. We turned our entire parking lot into a really cool outdoor dining space, and we were like, this is going to be great. But we're still not doing the numbers. We're sanitizing, as Thomas mentioned. We're keeping everything clean. We're complying with all the rules, and I just don't understand why we aren't being considered. We're being very considerate to everyone else. In the service industry, I don't know how many of you have worked in the service industry, but it's all about being considerate of everyone else. And we're not being considered here. Instead of the governor coming up with an arbitrary number like 25% capacity, why isn't anyone thinking about, okay, what is it going to take for them to survive? And is that number safe? I feel like we aren't being considered. So I'm here today as someone who, in March, I lost every single event. In April, I lost every single event. In May, I lost every single event. For December, which is a big month for events, everyone is canceled. So I've seen it from both sides, laying off the staff and then having every single event canceled. So we're just asking if maybe we can be considered from a different angle. What is it gonna take for us to survive, and is that safe? So now I will wrap this up. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Please stay safe. Thank you so much for listening. I will introduce Laurel McFarland from the San Diego Event Coalition.
All right. Thank you, Dominique.
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Jim Desmond, for putting this press conference together and for hearing us. It's nice to finally be heard. My name is Laurel McFarland, and I own a small event business called McFarland Promotions, who once produced over 65 events a year. I am also a member of the San Diego Event Coalition. The event community followed the state guidelines, and we shut down all our businesses and events on March 13th. We let go of staff. We took out second mortgages on our houses. We borrowed from friends and family if we could, took money from our kids' college funds, and reduced. We scrambled to make financially for the last 6 months, only to find out last Friday that we have been completely disregarded and undermined. We created the San Diego Event Coalition in early June, a 30-page document that the San Diego County Health Department has approved, outlining protocols for safe and sanitary procedures so that we can produce outdoor community events in a manner that offers the same minimal risk as going to a restaurant, a swap meet, a farmer's market, a day at the beach, or an outing at the zoo. But yet our industry was completely omitted from the San Diego guidelines released this past Friday. The event industry wasn't even listed. Whether this is an oversight or an intentional omission, you cannot tell 12 million event workers nationwide who have lost their jobs or have no business that they do not factor into your plan until COVID-19 is gone away. You cannot neglect the small businesses and individual people who have not been able to work for nearly 6 months. 200,000 San Diegans are being impacted by the event industry being completely shut down. We are responsible for bringing in $329 million to the local San Diego economy and over $38 billion nationally. Events are happening, whether in people's backyards or right out in public, and these events are not operating under the strict guidelines and professional planning we have proposed. Swap meets are flooded with people every weekend. Vendors are being permitted to set up in public spaces at the beach and the San Diego parks, but they are not allowed at a professionally organized street fair that has spent months putting protocols for sanitation into place. We are happy these businesses are operating, but it's complete hypocrisy that these categories are open. They operate just like an event, filled with people wandering around, visiting retail and food booths, utilizing shaded seating areas, and even having to purchase a ticket to enter. Pretty sure I just described an event. At the same time, small outdoor street fairs, art shows, car shows, corporate and private events can't happen. No events allowed. Almost every industry has been able to have modified openings, and the event industry should as well. I am a woman-owned business that employed 8 amazing, diverse ladies. I'm down to myself and 2 staff members, who I'm not sure how much longer I can hold on to, as I've had 90% of my business canceled. I'm also a mom, the sole provider for our family of 4 kids and my husband. I'm not just an event. I am a person who has a family she is responsible for and who is trying her best to hang on. And I'm just one story of 12 million across the country. 200 San Diegans, real people who made a living working live events, are suffering. We have been offered minimal and fleeting aid, and I'm tired of being overlooked while rogue, unsafe events pop up daily, or sanctioned categories that clearly are an event by all measures are happening. It's time for our leaders to invite us to the table, to talk to seasoned event professionals about the future of events. And until those events are permitted, step up and provide your people that you represent with the aid that they need to make it through. For every favorite memory you have at an event, there are hundreds of event workers it took to make that experience happen. You didn't see them, and that was the point. But we will no longer be unseen. We will stay loud and fight until a plan is in place to save live events and reopen this sector safely. It is time. Tomorrow, we are lighting all over San Diego County the buildings red for the Red Alert event to bring needed attention to this devastated industry. If you have a venue or a building, please participate. If you have a voice, please use it to post photos on social media and tag your representatives. It's our time to be seen. Thank you.
All right.
A little emotional there. And now I'd like to announce Amy, an amazing colleague who's been in this fight with me from the start, from First Comes Love.
All right, Amy.
Thank you, Laurel. As Laurel mentioned, my name's Amy. So I own a few businesses. First Comes Love, we are a wedding planning company who produces about 100, 120 weddings a year. And I also do run some public events as well. So like I mentioned, you think about a client, you have their biggest day that you're responsible for, their wedding, one of the biggest days in their life. And right now, that can't happen. Events are literally illegal, and my job is literally illegal. I have 2 small children. I can't provide for them. Yet I'm sitting here from March to now trying to advise these clients on what to do, hoping that next week we'll have guidance, the week after we'll have guidance, the month after we'll have guidance. We are a very, very unique industry in that we work on a long lead time. So right now, we're talking to our clients for Q1, Q2 for 2021, and they don't know what to do. Think about it. If you have a wedding that was supposed to happen in April, you postpone to October, and then you're told that you still can't have it, and there's no information on when you may be able to have it, because it's technically a gathering. A gathering is 2 or more people outside of a household. Yet you can go to a restaurant, you can dine with hundreds of other people, you have no idea who they are, yet you can't get 40 to 50 people together for a dinner-style reception because that's an event. We can contact trace, we can test prior to these gatherings, and yet they're still not allowed. In fact, events are not even a drop-down or an industry on the state's guidelines. How is that? I mean, you look, it says convention centers and festivals, no venues, no reception halls, nothing. So how are we as an industry supposed to instill the faith in our clients that we can do something for them in the future and that we can help them moving forward? Quite frankly, our industry is dying. And as Laurel mentioned, there's hundreds of thousands of people who are affected. It's not just the event planners. It's not just the DJs, the florists. It's the valet parkers. It's the servers. It's the kitchen staff. It goes, from the top down. It's hundreds of thousands of people in our local community who are affected and unemployed by this. It's mind-boggling that these restaurants and other businesses can be open, yet we cannot. The rules are very hypocritical between the different industries. And as an industry, what we want to do is we want to reopen safely. Do I think we're going to have a dance party for 200 people tomorrow? Absolutely not. However, myself and a group of our colleagues, we created the California Association for Private Events, and we drafted guidelines. This is 15 pages of very well thought out guidelines that we ran through the county reopening team. We ran through Dr. Wooten, and they sent up to California and Sacramento. And unfortunately, it fell on deaf ears. And what we want to do is make sure that moving forward, there aren't these bootleg events. We've all heard about them, the parties in PB, Bankers Hill, wherever, where people are they're sick of it. And unfortunately, they're creating these unsanctioned events, which are unsafe. However, we as an industry can put these protocols in place, can help people to create these safe events, which will ultimately help to slow the spread of COVID. Our industry works on a long lead time. The future revenue is disappearing every single day that we don't have guidelines and we don't have information. So as a billion-dollar industry in California, we're unable to provide for our families, which is absolutely ludicrous, given that we're essentially taking the guidelines that are already pre-approved and asking to operate under there. We need to be able to reopen, even if it's under a limited capacity, so that way we can see hope for the future for the events industry. Supervisor Desmond, I'd like to thank you for your efforts to get us reopened, and my plea is really this: just let us reopen under short guidelines, under restaurant guidelines, however we can. Just get us started, so that way we can start providing for our families and provide hope for this multi-billion-dollar industry.
Thank you, Amy. Wow. Good way to wrap it up. Well, I want to personally thank all of the presenters here and speakers, Amy, Laurel, Dominique, we have Thomas, Scott, Anthony, and Angie. All of them, everybody wants to keep safe. Everybody wants to stay safe. We realize there's still a pandemic out there. We realize we still have to deal with COVID. But we can do that. We can do both. We can be safe and we can deal with this pandemic and disease. People need to get back to work. People need to earn a living. We're tired of being mistreated and winners and losers being picked. We're all winners. We all should have the opportunity to open and open safely. That's all we're asking for. I want to thank everybody for being here today. Thank you for the people that showed up here. This is actually a very good response. I want to give everybody here a hand. Thank you very much for being here. These are your businesses, your family, your San Diego. You should be able to allow to open up and go back to work. Thank you very much. If any of the press has any questions you want to ask any of the particular speakers or anything like that, you can do one-on-ones if you have any at all. Thank you very much. Take care. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. That was good. That was good. Hey, very good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Keep hearing your voices. Yes, yes. Amy, sorry I butchered your name. Sorry. Oh, Dominic, thank you so much. Very good. Very good. Thank you so much. You guys didn't have a script. You just poured your hearts out. I loved it. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Hey, thank you. Very, very good.
Could our coalition find 20 minutes at some point?